waiting for it. Okay, it's recording. I'm taking a break from doing something that's kind of interesting. I can't knit. Well, I can actually. I taught myself, but then when I went to try to teach somebody else, I was trying to teach them the way I did it, and I thought it made more sense to me, but then there was another lady who was teaching people too, and I got watching, and I was like, that's not how I knit. And she showed me how she did it, and I realized, oh, I actually don't knit then. I don't know, maybe I created something different. Maybe it's called knitting or netting, I don't know. But anyway, and because she did show me how to do it, I actually do know how to knit now. But I've just given up on, even though, okay, stop. I'm thinking too many things and getting confused. It's sometimes I get, yarn is getting more expensive, so it's easier to knit things than crochet because, face it, if you want to make a panel and you crochet it, it's going to use more yarn than if you knit it. Well, and what I do is I usually go and get like old Afghans that somebody was using to test out a pattern or something. Anyway, I pick it up for like $5 and take it apart, and it ends up being like 8 scans of yarn or something for $5. Whereas if you go buy a scan of yarn at the store, it's usually $5 for one scan. So anyway, I got this one Afghan, and I thought it was crocheted, but when I got home, I found it was knitted, and it didn't end up yielding as much yarn as what I needed for a project. So I decided, okay, well, what I'm going to have to do then is I'm going to have to knit. Well, actually, I found that out the hard way, which is another thing I should mention because it's a really awesome, one of my favorite concepts. Sometimes when you have a choice between two things, the best way to get the right answer and to be completely sure that it is the right answer is to get it wrong. I find that true with taking tests too. Anyway, so knit, crochet, knit, crochet. Well, I tried to crochet first, only to do it for like a whole day and a half to realize that I don't have enough yarn to do it. So then I knew for a fact there's no question as to what I should do. I should knit. Well, I don't knit well. And I first tried with, well, I found a pattern and I didn't have the right size needles. So then I tried doubling up the yarn, making it bulkier. And I'm like, I don't know how to convert that. So it'll be kind of gobbledygook, so I don't want to do that. So what instead I decided to try doing is, I'm like, well, why can't I use a loom? That is so easy and it's so fast. All that time I lost crocheting to only find out that I don't have enough yarn, well, I can make up that time if I use a loom. So now my favorite thing is trying to knit things. And a couple of years ago, I started running out of yarn. I didn't have enough Christmas colored yarn to make stockings like I was going to crochet. So I got these really cute crochet patterns. But then I was like, oh, I'm going to have to knit. And I ended up using the looms. So I figured out, well, you must be, because each little peg on the loom, I'll show you. See, each little peg is just like a little loop on your knitting needle. So what I'm doing now is I'm just using regular knitting patterns, but I'm converting them into loom knitting patterns. And I'm making Christmas sweaters. And I have enough yarn to do that. I don't even remember what I was thinking. Oh, I was thinking about something that I overheard people talking. Sorry. I remember people talking about playing chess and the different ways they play it and stuff. And I was thinking about how I thought that everything about me, I was trying to self-diagnose what I had, and I was like, well, it might be that exact same thing as her, but yet when she started talking about her love of chess, I'm like, yeah, me too. But then the way she plays it isn't completely different. And I thought, well, ever since my brain injury, I've noticed that problem. And I noticed it today when someone was saying a prayer. I was like, took them so long, and they made this, there was a sentence, but they made this really long. And I thought, oh my goodness, is he ever going to finish that sentence? And it has a totally different meaning when you finish it. I can't even remember what it was now, but, and I thought, well, it probably didn't even seem like a long pause to him, because I was noticing that it's like there was a lady walking, and I was like, is she gonna go past before I turn, or should I slow down and go slower? I really worry about things like that, logistics. Well, to her, I wonder if she could. I was trying to. It's something that empathetic people do. They always assume what the other person is thinking. I'm like, is she perceiving me thinking this and slowing down? Because, anyway, that's my... I'm so sidetracked. I should have written this all down on a piece of paper so I could say it succinctly, using the right words, and say exactly what I mean. What I'm trying to say is, guess Einstein said it the best when he was talking about relativity at time. Everybody, what I noticed through the different things like a driving and the prayer and playing chess, people perceive differently. I notice when my kids read, like one of them, it's like she turns pages so fast. I'm like, I didn't even read the title yet, and she's already done with the book. So I think people perceive things differently, and what I think of as a dramatic pause really wasn't that long of a pause to them. That's just the speed of their mind. So if my mind used to work a whole lot faster, and that's why I feel like things are so slow. Well, to my kids, they might think everything I do is so slow. Anyway, it's just something to think about, and how much time probably goes past. And that's the difference. When people play chess, some person might be getting so annoyed. Like, why aren't they moving? Why aren't they moving? When actually, to them, they're just looking at the board and moving. It isn't a long pause to them, because everybody's brain works at a different speed. Wow, that was a lot. People are yelling, and I don't know what about. Sorry. I shouldn't be eavesdropping and trying to figure out. It's none of my business.